hit the button right now. This is for a couple of reasons. One, and the main reason is if anyone wants to go back and recover something that we covered, it's here for you. Okay, so I'll record everything, all of our class sessions for you guys. And then the second one is if you ever like my jokes, you guys can go back and look at those too. Today I won't share any jokes. We got a busy day ahead of us, but most weeks I'll be sharing a few jokes with you guys. So to get us started today, I'll go ahead and share a spiritual thought. And then Tyler, could I have you say the opening prayer for us?
Sure thing.
Awesome. Appreciate it. All right. In the Book of Mormon, there is a guy named Nephi. Hopefully you guys have all heard of him. I love Nephi for a number of reasons. But since becoming a parent, I have thought a lot about him and his brothers and that huge divide. You know, I imagine that the Lehi and Sariah tried to parent their kids in similar ways. I don't imagine that drastic of a change between what they did with Nephi and what they did with Laman and Lemuel. And yet there is obviously a huge divide to different civilizations in fact. So at one point when I was studying the Book of Mormon, I was thinking about that and thinking about where that divide was, or if we could see it happening. And the first thing that I saw was in 1 Nephi chapter 2, verse 16. Now, this is shortly after the Lord told Lehi in a dream to leave Jerusalem. All right. And I told my kids last night, I'm like, can you imagine if I woke up tomorrow morning and was like, guys, we have to leave Rexburg and we're never coming back? And Hannah was like, no, that'd be so bad. She's 6. I'm like, yeah, that'd be pretty rough. But anyways, so Lehi tells this to his kids. And in verse 16, we read this. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, being exceedingly young, nevertheless being large in stature, and also having great desires to know of the mysteries of God, wherefore I did cry unto the Lord. And behold, he did visit me, and did soften my heart, that I did believe all the words which had been spoken by my father. Wherefore I did not rebel against him like unto my brothers. Okay, so I saw 2 main things there. One, he had great desires to know, first of all. And then it said that he cried unto the Lord. Apparently he had faith, otherwise he wouldn't have been like, I want to know this, and then not do anything. But he had faith, and so he prayed about it, and he cried unto the Lord. And then because of the answer that he received, he didn't end up rebelling. We can see another similar instance of this after Lehi shares his vision of the tree of life. And his brothers are all confused and like, dude, what is our dad talking about? And Nephi says, and it came to pass after I, Nephi, having heard all the words of my father concerning the things which he saw in a vision, and also the things which he spake by the power of the Holy Ghost, which power he received by faith on the Son of God, and the Son of God was the Messiah who should come. I, Nephi, was desirous also that I might see and hear and know of these things by the power of the Holy Ghost, which is the gift of God unto all those who diligently seek him, as well in times of old as in the time that he should manifest himself unto the children of men. I look at these 2 verses and I see a huge change in Nephi and how much he's grown from his personal experiences, simple decisions based on simple desires to want to know and to try to pray about knowing something. And then at this point, he's like, I know that the Holy Ghost is real. I know that he will manifest himself through faith in the Son of God. And so again, he's praying about this. Elder Neal A. Maxwell said, therefore, what we insistently desire over time is what we will eventually become and what we will receive in eternity. I share all this with you guys this morning at the start of a semester because the Lord wants to help you in all of your endeavors. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that. It's easy to focus on completely different things that aren't necessarily bad, but it's easy to lose sight of that. And I know that if you guys have a desire to receive his help and to be close to him and exercise faith in that desire, then he will bless you and he will be with you. I'm not saying that this class is going to be hard, but I might say that later today. But he's going to help you guys, okay, if you put him first. So each day when you wake up and you're like, man, there's all these assignments I got to do, take a couple minutes to pray and read your scriptures. It'll make a huge difference. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Tyler, go ahead.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank thee for this day today, and thank thee for allowing us to be up this early in the morning that we can go and have this opportunity to go and learn. Please help us to be able to go and understand what will be taught and to be prepared for this semester. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tyler. All right, let me share my screen real quick. Just as a reminder, to receive full credit for attendance, your camera does have to be on, and at some point in the lesson, you do have to participate. Okay. Jordan and Andrew are going to be monitoring the chat. If you ever want to chime in and ask a question, sometimes I see it when you raise your hand. Sometimes I see it when you click the raise your hand button, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm really involved in Google Slides because my brain is limited in some ways. But anyways, feel free to just turn on your mic and talk.
Brother
Okay.
Birch.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Christian.
I just wanted to let you know I don't have a webcam yet,
Okay.
but I'm getting one in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So I won't be able to have my camera on for a couple weeks, but I'm getting one.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for letting me know, Christian. All right, well, everyone, welcome to cse341. This, if you didn't know, is Web Backend Development 2. There are various prerequisites for this class, none of which are Web Backend 1, okay? So that's okay, because Web Backend 1 is very different than this class, which is by design. When I was designing this course, I knew that Web Backend 1 dealt with PHP. I knew that they worked with MySQL. I knew that they used relational databases and queries, and that is all fantastic and really good skills that, in my opinion, every web developer should have. But when I was designing this course, I knew that that course existed, and so I wanted to teach something different, a different set of skills that I also believe that every web developer should have. So, Web Development 2, well, let's go back. We're going to be focusing on Node.js, and we'll be using a NoSQL database structure called MongoDB. To get us started, I am Nathan Birch. I will be your teacher this semester. Just to kind of introduce myself, I'll just kind of show you a couple pictures of my family. So this is a picture of Sarah, my wife, and I at the Spokane Temple. This is when we were married. This was almost 7 years ago. Our anniversary is in just a couple of weeks. I'm happy that it was a beautiful day, even though it was snowy and freezing for all of our pictures. These from left to right, we have Clara, who is 2, almost 3 now. She'll be 3 in a couple of months. Emily, who just turned 4, is in the middle. And then Hannah just turned 6 a couple of weeks ago. She's the one that said that she wouldn't want to leave Rexburg, and that'd be really bad if all of a sudden I woke up saying that we had to leave. And then our last one, we have William here. He turned 1 in September. He's a little delight. And he also wakes up freakishly early. Usually he wakes up around like 5. This morning he woke up around 4. And yeah, but these are my kids. They're fantastic. They're growing really fast. They talk really fast. And they're just great. So faculty profile, I'm pretty sure you can just pull this up on iLearn or something. If you go into iLearn and click on, there should be a button for your instructor right here. Okay, you click on that one, and oh look, there is the page that I just showed you, my little instructor intro. There's also a spot here where you can set up an appointment to meet with me if you ever want to chat or tell me a joke or ask questions about the class, you know. But you can always set up a time to meet with me. I'm happy to help you guys out. It also shows my email. And so, yeah. All right. Client-side technologies will be enhanced and combined with server-side technologies to create rich web applications. So previously when I've taught this class, it has felt like a full stack development class, because oftentimes it is difficult to create a backend without creating a front end. Now, there's an interesting divide there, because oftentimes in the professional world, you will have a backend development position or a front end developer position, and the projects that house those code bases are completely different projects. You know, so the front end developers, they'll have their own code repository that they work from. The back end developers, same, they have their own project, if you will, even though it's for the same website or application. And previously, when I've taught this class, we have just you just make an entire website. Okay. Well, this semester I'm going to do something a little bit different. Now, for anyone who's seen my course outline before, don't flip out. It's not that big of a change, just a little bit of a change. But the first half of the semester will be exactly the same. Okay. You are going to develop a full stack e-commerce web application by yourself with the help of our textbook. Our textbook is a Udemy course. And so you'll kind of just follow along that Udemy course. And as long as you do it, you'll finish the project. Okay. I encourage you to make some things about the project unique. I don't want to see a bunch of Max Schwarzmüller's projects all over the place getting submitted. I know what his project looks like. I don't want you guys to make your own project. With that said, you'll be doing his tutorials and that will help you make the project. All right, we'll spend about 6 weeks on that. After that, I will spend 1 to 2 weeks with you guys teaching you strictly about backend web services and how to use them without a front end. Okay, because in these 6 weeks, you will learn how to develop them within the bounds of a full stack application. Okay, but I also want to prepare you for positions where, like I mentioned a moment ago, you're a backend developer with a backend project, no front end. How do you test your services? How do you make sure everything's working? And so I have talked with, wow, I actually forgot his last name. The course lead of web front end development too. His name's Shane. I always call him Shane, but I forgot his last name.
Brother Thompson.
Thank you, Brother Thompson. So I have talked with him, and we think that it's a great idea to kind of make some teams, some cross-class teams. And so the second chunk of this semester, you are going to be teamed up with a couple people in this class, and you'll be working on the same project as a couple people in his class. Okay, the people in his class will have their own code repo to do the front end. You guys will have your own code repo to do the back end, and that is really similar to what the majority of web development positions out there are like. And so you'll get you'll get some really, really good experience in this class. I'm excited for you guys. None of that's in the syllabus yet, just because I'm still working out the kinks, but you guys will be hearing more about that from me and meeting your teams in the next couple of weeks, planning out what projects you're going to do, and then you'll actually start code on them in week 8 and do that for the rest of the semester. All right, new course disclaimer. So I just kind of said that I'm making changes to it. This course isn't as new as it once was, obviously. The first time I taught this content was in spring. So this is my 3rd semester teaching it, but every semester I tend to make big changes because I see things, or Jordan and Andrew see things, or I get comments from students. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's make a change. So the good is there's no more PHP. Okay, Node.js is much more relevant in the professional world today. Node.js all the way. State of the art modern web design. More relevant to modern development, incredible skill set for industry, potentially incredible projects to add to your professional portfolio to share with potential employers. Extra credit to help make this course better. So I have surveys set up every week of the course, and if you complete the survey, you get extra credit. Okay, there are more ways to get extra credit in this course, but I would encourage you to do that, both for my benefit, the course's benefit, and your benefit. The debatable iLearn course might have issues. Of course, most iLearn courses do, let's be honest. Assignments might be too difficult or too easy. Instructor might have no idea what he's doing. All right, I'll just throw that out there right now. All right, the promise. If you work hard, you can land an amazing job with just the skills from this class. And if you're patient with me, I'll be patient with you. Okay, so if there's an assignment that makes absolutely no sense, I'll be patient with you. Okay, as long as you're patient with me when I'm making my mistakes. Okay. Any questions up to this point? Yeah, do you have one? Is a sushi? I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Yes. It's kind of a personal question.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't checked the biography of your, a profile or at all. But I just thought you look young and, youngest teacher in the university. So I just thought you went to the, grad school already and took a master's degree or so. I was just curious, like you done everything so fast. So.
Yeah. So I just graduated from high school. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So let's see. I went to BYU Idaho. I graduated with a bachelor's in CIT. While I was there, so I transferred here with an associate's that I did get in high school. And then after my mission, I transferred here. And then I was on campus for about 3 semesters. And then I got an internship with the church in Riverton, Utah. And they hired me on full-time while I finished the last year of my degree. And so I worked with them for that year. After that, I could have stayed. There were a number of reasons why I chose not to. I loved working with the church. I would recommend that job to all of you guys. I absolutely loved it. but I did find a different position that was going to be more helpful for my family, would help pay for more of grad school. And my wife and I decided that we wanted a time in our lives without winter. We kind of wanted to see what that would be like. And so I chose to leave the church shortly after I graduated, and I started working with General Motors down in Austin, Texas. I worked there for 3 years. While I was working with General Motors, I got my master's degree in computer systems, and with an emphasis in security. And also during that time, I started teaching online in the CIT department here for BYUI classes. And funny story, my first week teaching online, I was like, oh my heavens, this is amazing. I like absolutely loved it. I had been used to like working in my bedroom, making websites and mobile apps, and it was awesome. I love programming. You know, I love making websites. I love making apps. I love making people's lives easier with the projects that I've built. But I also really love people. Kind of found that out on my mission. I found out that I loved teaching on my mission. And so teaching was always kind of on the back burner, which is why I jumped right into grad school shortly after my bachelor's was finished. And so I started teaching online in the first week of class. I'm like, this is amazing. I started emailing old teachers. I'm like, hey, do you need a PhD to teach on campus? I emailed HR. I'm like, hey, are there any jobs open? And there was one with an application opening time that closed like 2 days after I sent that message. And I'm like, well, I'll apply for it. If it works out, awesome. I doubt it'll work out because like you said, I'm younger than most the professors here. But they asked me to do an interview over Skype and I did it. And they asked me to come to campus and do like a dozen interviews and teach a class. And I did it. And here I am. I've been here for 1.5 years. So it's crazy how things work out sometimes. The teaching that had been on my back burner was moved to my front burner really fast. But I absolutely love it. I love teaching, and I'll do everything I can to help you guys in this class. So,
can I say something, Brother Birch?
Please, Aaron. Thank you.
This is my 3rd class with Brother Birch. I've been here since 2017, and I really like Brother Birch. I've had a lot of teachers in the CS and CIT department, and I think he's really great. I think he's a really good teacher.
Aaron, thank you. I appreciate that. And welcome to class again. All right.
Brother Birch?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't figure out how to raise my hand in this class.
You're good.
Is the Udemy course the same as the Akamai course, or are they different?
Yes, they are the same. You guys get a discounted price with the Akamai one.
Okay.
But they are the same. So if you've already purchased the Udemy one, you can use that. If not, then go ahead and use the link that I sent out, and that'll get you the course for $12.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I see a hand. I don't know how to pronounce your name either. How do you pronounce
Yevgeny.
Yevgeny. Okay, cool.
Yep.
What can I help you with?
So on your slide, on the good column, the 3rd point is state-of-the-art modern web design. What do you mean by that exactly?
So modern web design, web technologies change probably faster than any other programming aspect or programming field that I've seen. But there seems to be kind of a pendulum of change. Okay, so several years ago, the big focus was, using SQL databases, relational tables, and everything. And recently, REST web services have come into play, and NoSQL databases have come out. And there are pros and cons to different types of databases, especially when dealing with relational and non-relational databases. But this modern web design that I'm talking about is just learning how to use frameworks instead of just PHP. It's learning how to use NoSQL databases, learning how to make RESTful web services, learning how to make asynchronous calls using JavaScript, which will help you in other languages as well. And all of this to help you build scalable, rich web applications. Great question. Okay, I see something in the chat. Let me pull that up real quick. What is the name of the class we are teaming up with? Brother Thompson's 2:30. It is 3:30. Yeah, Matt, Samuel, thank you. It's 3:30. Yeah.
If we take that class as well.
Are you taking it right now as well?
Yeah, if we're taking it as well, can we team up with ourselves? Or
so Brother Thompson and I, we talked about that. We talked about that possibility, and we decided probably not. I'll talk with him a little bit more just to see the final answer. The pros and cons of that. The pro, obviously, you'd be in the same project,
Yeah.
which would be nice. The con is your team in both classes might rely on you a lot more because you're on both sides of the coin. And you might be like, I can handle that. But we don't want you to handle that, okay? We want you to experience life without seeing the other side of the coin fully, with having the interface with other developers, because that's a huge part of the experience that we want you to get. And so the last time we talked about it, we said, no, we wouldn't allow that. I'll double check with him.
It'll be fine. It'll work out.
Yeah. The downside is now you're going to have to worry about 2 different projects. So it'll just feel like 2 different classes, which is what you're doing. So, all right. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? Sweet. Every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. Okay. So in this class, if you're like looking at the syllabus and you're like, man, this looks awful, or you're like, man, why did he give us 6 hours of videos to watch every week for these first month and a half? Just know that your efforts in this class will directly compare to your success in this class. Okay. If you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, I'm going to put in like 20 minutes each day of the week, you'll probably fail the class or drop it in a couple weeks and then try to pick it up next semester. Okay. But if you're like, okay, this is probably going to take me like 8 to 9 hours a week, which is what the university tells you to plan for anyways, 3 to 4 hours per credit. But if you just plan that into your schedule and actually try and work hard at it, then you'll do it. And my promise still stands that at the end of this class, you'll be able to get an amazing job with the skills that you learn in this class. All right, let's look at our syllabus a little bit. Graduates of the class will be able to create advanced web applications and services through server-side programming and relational non-relational database technologies. Okay, we're not going into relational databases. Build rich, dynamic end-tier web applications. Demonstrate the ability and recognize the importance of separating web applications into tiers. That'll really come into play in the second half of the semester. Okay, when you won't be able to use a front end to test out your web services, but you'll have to use a different program to be able to see what your services are actually outputting. Recognize the fundamentals behind and understand the advantages and disadvantages of the many different and competing web technologies.
Philip Birch, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you mentioned we're doing non-relational database technology. Maybe I should already know this, but what's the difference?
That's a great question. So relational databases have what we call tables, and each table, let's say I had like a student table. That table might have the following pieces of data in them. Like each student would have an ID, a first name, last name, address, and phone number. Okay. But let's say I had a class table. All right. And I have all of you guys in this class. I wouldn't want to store your first name, last name, phone number, address, and everything in my class, because that'd be a terrible way to work with data, because then that data would be duplicated in every other class that you take every other semester. And so instead, I probably just have a list of I numbers as far as my table goes. Okay. And so tables and relational databases, all the tables are super connected with what we call keys to be able to reference data in different places. NoSQL is completely different. Whatever object or data structure you create in JavaScript, or any language for that matter, can be saved directly into a NoSQL database the exact same way. And they're generally called documents. Depending on which NoSQL database you're working with, they might call them objects or data entities, but they're usually called documents. But it's really nice because I can just take a JavaScript object and I can just save it directly into a database and then grab it later on directly from that database without having to change much. And so you guys could learn more if you just like Google like difference between NoSQL and SQL.
It's like JSON versus SQL,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah, you can totally just save straight up JSON, which makes it really nice because when you work with data, you use JSON, you know, and so it's in a lot of ways it's less work for you guys, and it's a lot faster in development. There are a lot of issues that can arise from it. You know, there are issues that can come up with that can come up with relational databases too. But there will be things to look out for that I'll teach you about. And yeah, does that answer your question, Matthew?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
I also have a question.
Yeah, please.
Bit of a tangent / personal question. So with pandemic and stuff, I have the fun opportunity of taking all of my online classes with my toddler.
Ooh, fun.
who will be waking up probably soon, reading through the syllabus about participation points for class. How would you like me to go around that?
Situation, I understand how it is to have kids, and you're just fine. If there are times when you have to turn off your camera, I appreciate you bringing up this situation, you know. And if anyone else has special situations, then I'll talk about them. If they seem ridiculous, I'll be like, that's ridiculous, and you should leave your camera on. But if they're not ridiculous, like this one, I'll be like, I'm fine if you turn your camera off from time to time. If your kid like throws up on you or something, like you do what you have to do. Just do your best to participate.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, these are awesome questions, guys. One of the things I love about our upper level classes is that the students actually talk more. I taught a couple intro classes yesterday and no one talks, you know, and so I appreciate you guys. I love seeing you guys and talking with you guys.
Last semester was rough.
I know. All right. Independently learn and apply new technologies. This one's huge. All right. We have, as a department, we try to emphasize this and we try to ramp you up, you know, so in the intro level classes, we pretty much give everything to our students. We say, hey, read this, Google this exact word, and do this, this, and this, and write this code exactly like this with a test case to make sure that it's exactly the same. But as you get out of those entry level classes, we try to go away from that. And, you know, so once you start getting up into 300 and 400 level classes, the burden is on you to learn what you have to learn. So for example, in this course, I'm giving you a Udemy or an Academine course, all right, or you might get a textbook. In many other courses that are 300 or 400 level, you won't get anything. They'll just be like, you're going to build this, go find the resources on your own to learn it. So you have this course to help you, but there will be so many things that you have to Google, you know, and that will be your responsibility. And by the end of this class, one of my goals, one of the class learning outcomes is that you are able to independently learn and apply new technologies. I love Academind and I love Udemy because anytime I want to learn a new language or I want to try a new framework or something, that's usually where I go. I'll wait till a course goes on sale. I'll pay $10 and then I'll take like a quarter of it and then I'll be done. And that was enough for me to like get a handle on it and I can do the rest of my learning on my own. But for you to be able to find how you learn programming languages best and web technologies or any type of technology is an invaluable skill. All right, Slack. Hopefully you all have heard of Slack. I've seen a lot of you guys join our workspace already. It is a development collaboration tool used widely in the workplace. The first time I ever saw Slack was at General Motors, and I was like, what's this? You guys are slacking off? Like, who would name a program that? That is where we will do 100% of our course communication outside of Zoom, okay? If you guys email me, I'm not saying I won't email you back, but I'll copy and paste your email into Slack, and I'll message you back there. Okay, so the reason why I like to use Slack is for a couple of reasons. One, it's way easier to use than a lot of the other tools that we have. And two, I have a terrible memory. And so you guys emailing me and me emailing you back, usually what happens with those emails is they get put in a folder called CS Students that I never look at ever again. All right. But in Slack, if you message me, I can message you back and we will both see every conversation we've ever had. So if you ever ask me for a link, you'll see it because I'll send it to you and it'll be right there. If you ever tell me about an issue that you have, I'll see it because I'll see it there and I won't forget. So we will use Slack for all of our course communication. It is also where we will have all of our course discussions. No discussions in iLearn. Slack's really nice because if you download it on your phone or your computer, you'll get notifications. It's easy to see when people post a funny reaction to a post that you make or something. That's another thing. The reactions in Slack, you don't get that in iLearn or Outlook. Messages to instructor, TA, students, teams, everyone. It's really easy to message people. If you want to message me, Jordan, and Andrew at the same time, it's really easy. And so all of our messaging will be there. Extra credit. Okay, like I said, you're going to have a lot of questions in this class. All right, a lot of them will be answered in the Academine course. A lot of them will be created from the Academine course. And when you have questions, post on the help channel. There's a help channel in Slack. And when people help out a lot in the help channel to answer people's questions, we give extra credit. Okay, it'll just be thrown onto one of your assignments for that week. We'll leave a little comment saying, hey, thanks for your help on the help channel. And so you can get extra credit on Slack too. Icebreaker for week 1. Assembling teams, I already assembled your teams. I just did it in alphabetical order, nice and old school, just because our week is like cut in half this week and you guys have a team activity that you have to do. So you guys already have your teams. Those are also in Slack. You each have, well, each of your teams has a private channel for your team. You guys can post code there, whatever you're working on, you can share it there. Because it's a private channel. I am on that channel. And so, yeah, just be aware of that. If you want to talk bad about me, maybe send a personal message. Okay, our textbook, Node.js, the complete guide, including MVC, REST, APIs, GraphQL, and a bunch of other stuff. This is the course. It is hosted by Academind, but like I said, it's the exact same one that you would find on Udemy. Okay. The link to get this is just in the syllabus, I'm pretty sure, somewhere in the syllabus. Any questions about our textbook? Sweet. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
So so just to clarify, I went to Udemy. It's the same thing as the course itself.
Yes.
Okay, because I bought the course for a little bit cheaper. It was like $10 or something.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, so Udemy, they have their sales that happen like every other day, it seems like. And so anytime, like I said, anytime I go to Udemy to buy a course, I'll wait until that sale comes on, and it'll bump the price of a course price from like 200 down to like 10 or 15 or 8. This $12 one, I worked it out so that every semester, Max, the instructor of the course, he'll just send me a bunch of codes. So at the very worst, you'll get it for $12. But Aaron, nice work. If you guys find it for cheaper on Udemy, that's perfectly fine. It's the exact same course. So, all right. Better than a textbook, in my opinion. I've never been a fan for reading through paper and trying to find what I learned.
Brother Birch.
Yeah.
And with that, do we get the course for just always, or is it just timed, or what is it?
You'll have it as long as you have your account. It's not like a monthly subscription or anything. You just buy it and it's yours.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, where to get help? I made a Google Doc for you guys. Let me pull that up. So if you get stuck in this course and you're like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing, here's a list of stuff to help you. These are numbered, but you don't always have to follow this order, okay? Sometimes if you have a personal issue, you'll probably want to come to me first, you know? But anytime it's about general course content, maybe follow this order. It might be the best order to do it, because if you ask me a question that I already answered in a video, I'll just tell you to go to that video, which you would have found if you'd seen step 2. Or if you ask one of our TAs a coding question, they might be like, go post it on the help channel so I can answer it for everyone, because more than one person is going to have this question. But I say the iLearn course content first. We're all working from the same course online, the Academind or Udemy course. And so a lot of our questions will be able to be answered there. The video spreadsheet, let me just show you guys this real quick. This is a work in progress, okay? But I will post all of our recorded lectures on here, and I'll also post videos for your team assignments and your personal assignments. So if you look at, let me just delete these real quick. So if you look at an assignment and you have no idea what you're supposed to do with it, you could look at that assignment introduction. And usually in these introductions, I'll talk for a couple minutes. They're pretty short. I'll talk for a couple minutes about what the assignment is, what you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes I'll write code. Sometimes I'll write a huge list of like comments in code to like kind of like walk through my process of how I would solve the problem. And then after the assignment's due, so all of our assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. on a given day of the week. And at midnight, a minute later, a walkthrough video will become available to you that shows the entire solution. Okay. Now, if you wait for this, that's fine. The late work policy in this class is, though, as soon as it hits that mark and every day after, you'll lose 20% on the assignment until it's down to a 0. Okay. So if you're working really hard on an assignment and you can't figure it out, that's fine. Just get in there early the next morning and do it. And you can still do it for 80%. With that said, I would encourage you to do your best to stay on top of things, okay? Because if you do that, it'll be really easy to start feeling like you're playing catch up, and that's never fun. and it's really hard. So these videos are also there if you want to look at how to do something in a previous week, if you want to see how somebody else did something. These aren't perfect. They're answers. They're examples of solutions, but there are lots of different solutions. Every single one of our code, our files this semester are going to look completely different from the others, and that's just fine. Okay, and then we have some other videos here. Anytime we see things that lots of students are asking, we'll try to make a video on it to try to help out. And some of the videos in here Jordan has done and Andrew have done, and they've helped me out a lot with this too. So, any questions on the spreadsheet? Okay, sweet. Next one is Google. Surprise, surprise. It is every web developer's best friend. Okay, Google's fantastic. And then I put a link in here for some tips to get programming help with Google. Help channel in Slack. Again, you can get extra credit by helping out here. And then anytime you have coding questions, you should post them here. Tutoring Center. We might not have any tutors for this class right now, but it's all upon request. So if you go to the Tutoring Center and there isn't a cse341 tutor, you can request one and they'll go and hire one. Okay. And then our class TAs, Jordan and Andrew, they're fantastic. Do you two want to say anything or introduce yourselves?
Yeah, we can. Hey guys, I'm Jordan Dixon. I took this class before it changed with brother Birch, and I can tell you guys it's 1,000 times better now than it was when it was web engineering 2. Super fun. Andrew and I are here to help any of you guys with any of your needs. Like you said, there might not be any tutors, but Andrew and I always set hours during the week to be able to Zoom or do anything with you guys to be able to help you with your projects or help you guys with concepts. So I'm sure Andrew and I will be posting in the Slack channel links to where you guys can set up appointments to meet with us personally, and we can help you guys out with stuff. But here to help you guys in this class is really awesome. Absolutely love it.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, same as what Jordan said. This class is great. It's way better than what it was before because we don't have to use PHP. I've learned a lot from TAing in this class, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys and helping you out and seeing what kind of things you make this semester.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, that's something that I look forward to every semester. The projects that come out of this class sometimes blow my mind. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I would use that, and I've bookmarked some of them, and but they're great. So I'm really excited about that. And like they said, they do frequently post on Slack. They'll post on the announcements channel, be like, hey, I'm going to be online today from like 3 to 5. If anyone needs help, hop on. That's another good reason to download it on one of your devices and get notifications for stuff like that. Because if you're ever like, yeah, I actually do need help, that'd be awesome. You'll know about it. So, and then the last one here is set up an appointment with me. This is the same link that's in the instructor profile on iLearn. And like I said earlier, if you go here, it'll show you an array of available times that I have set in there that I'm available to meet. And you can just sign up for one and it'll just set it right into my calendar for me. It'll make a Zoom link for us and it'll put it in your calendar. And yeah, so. Okay, so hopefully this document is helpful. And yeah, so. Okay, let's see here. Next up, extra credit. We talked about it a little bit. We have the Slack workspace. I don't think I made an extra credit channel, and I'm not too worried about the extra credit channel. But there's the help channel. Okay. If you are ever in the help channel and you see that, or you got a lot of help from someone, feel free to just nominate that person, make another thread in the help channel and be like, hey, I think, Aaron or Samuel deserves extra credit. They helped me with this bug that I couldn't figure out on my own. We love giving out extra credit. At least I do. I don't know about Jordan and Andrew, but I do. I like making you guys happy, and extra credit always made me happy as a student. More extra credit. We have the spiritual discussions. So this is pretty much the only thing that's going to be in iLearn, okay, outside of submitting your assignments. But there are weekly announcements in iLearn that basically just have a spiritual thought, and you can get extra credit every week in the entire semester just by posting on that, just posting your thoughts relevant to the spiritual thought, and then commenting on somebody else's post, okay? And then weekly course feedback, which I already talked about. At the end of each proof assignment, there's a link to just a Google survey or Google form or whatever they call them. And we'll see those and you can get extra credit like that. So these 3 things, you guys, this is like every week. You could get a lot of extra credit in this course. I'm not saying that you should bomb any of your projects, but these can really help you out. So please be aware of that. Late work policy, I already talked about this. Okay, it'll be docked 20% per day that it's late. If you submit it a minute late, that's classified as a day. I know that a minute's not a day, but 1 minute to 23 hours and 59 minutes is 20. And then every 24-hour period after that is another 20% off until it hits 0. So be aware of that. Like I said, with the catch-up thing, it can get bad really fast. And with the Academy course, it's really nice that it's not a textbook and you don't have to read like 5 chapters a week or anything like that, but it is a lot of videos. And you're going to be programming alongside with them. Some of the videos you might be able to watch on double or triple speed. Some of the videos you might want to watch on half speed because you're trying to write code alongside. And you know, so like I said, just try to plan your schedule accordingly, and know that the second half of the semester is when most of your grade happens, and it's the easiest part of the semester. Okay, so these first 6 weeks might seem really brutal, for which I apologize, because like I said earlier, I like making you guys happy, and I don't like giving you guys crazy amounts of work, but I do like seeing amazing projects come out of this class, and that usually doesn't happen without a lot of work. Okay, the two kind of coincide a little bit. And so if you guys can just stick it out for this first month and a half as we kind of blitz this Udemy course, the Academy course, you know, the second half of the semester will be spent doing a project that will account for 50% of your grade, and it'll be fun. And you'll have all the resources that you need to do it. You'll have all the knowledge that you need to do it because of the first half of the semester. I still don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Atsushi? Atsushi?
Yes.
Okay.
Just want to figure out, like, I just want to make sure that your help spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So there is a, and you explain us about the personal assignment, like work through one, and it's saying until January 11th, and it's today after of the due date, right?
Yes.
So which means if we submit before the day changed to the January 12th on the if we submit it by January 11th of the 11:59, so we only deduct 20% of the as a late point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't go back and resubmit stuff. Also, I don't know if anyone else had that question, but you can't like submit something before it's due and then look at my solution, then resubmit it and expect full credit. They're just one submission each. And so you decide, be like, okay, this project isn't quite finished. Is this an 80% or should I submit it tomorrow and try to get 80%? Okay. That'll be your call. To kind of, and speaking about that, I kind of want to break down how we grade things in this course. So first, right here is the total grade breakdown for the class. Okay, 30% are your personal proof assignments, 10% are your preparation quizzes, and 60% are your team activities. There's a reason for this. Perhaps many of the classes that you've taken in the past, it was kind of swapped. You know, the majority of your grade is based on your personal work. Okay, your personal assignments. In this class, we focus a lot more on teamwork. And here's why. Because it is very rare that you end up working for a company as a web developer by yourself, okay? 99% of the time, outside of perhaps really small startups, you're gonna be working with a team. And even in really small startups, you're probably still gonna have a team, okay? And so please be aware of that as you think about this course. I know that teamwork is harder. I know that it's easier to just make a project on your own and you don't have to worry about anyone else and you just do it. If there's a bug, you fix it. If there's a time that you want to meet, you just do it, okay? I know that teamwork is harder. With that said, that doesn't change the fact that the majority of the work that you will do in your professional career will be in teams, okay? And so The focus of this class is teamwork, and you're going to have huge team projects that account for 60% of your grade. Okay. So I said that you'd all be making a full stack e-commerce application in the next 6 weeks. That is your proof for the next 6 weeks. Okay. You'll have something to submit every week. But those are all going to be proof assignments. And then your next one, I think it's 45% is the final submission at the end of the semester for that project that you're going to do with your second team. But those are all team projects. So the big project that we're going to do with Brother Thompson's front end development 2 class, those are all going to be team assignments, and that final submission of that project will be 45% of your grade. Okay. Let's see here. Wow, I don't think I put this in here. It has to be in here. Okay, good. Right here. So here's how we grade things. All right. So when I'm like, if it's going to be less than 80%, maybe you wait a day, see the solution, fix up some code, and submit it after that and shoot for 80. But right here, if some attempt was made on an assignment, you'll get 50%. That is severely lacking in functionality. If no attempt was made, you'll get 0, obviously. 70%, developing, but still significantly deficient. Okay. 70%, I look at that and it's like, okay, I can see what you're trying to do, but it's still a really long ways off from being able to do it. Okay. That's what 70% looks like. 85% is you're really close. I can see what you're trying to do and I can see where you're going wrong and it's really close. That's an 85%. 93% is you did it. Okay. If you meet the requirements of an assignment, you get 93%. If you want 100%, you have to go above and beyond and do something else that the assignment did not ask for. Okay. Any questions on this?
I do have a question.
Yeah, please.
So regarding these shows creativity and desire to excel above and beyond, do you mean like specifically like adding some kind of element, or do you mean like changing the code to maybe do like best uses, or just maybe changing the design of what is being shown?
It could be any of those. It could be any of those. Jordan, Andrew, do you guys want to make a comment on that?
Yeah. For I think all of the proof assignments now, we have rubrics on the course website where you look at the course instructions. So in the above and beyond column on those rubrics, you can look at that for some ideas or examples. We try to follow those rubrics. It won't always be exact. So if you're looking at that rubric and trying to figure out a grade for your own assignment, don't be surprised if our grade doesn't match what you found. But you can look at that for examples and to kind of get an idea of what we're looking for. But basically anything that you do to do something extra, even if it's just making it look really good, making it look professional and things like that, that's a way to get closer to 100%.
So, sorry, Jordan, did you want to add anything? Okay. So one of the classes that I taught yesterday is cse341, which is a Python programming class, one of the intro classes. And I have the same grading thing set up. If they meet requirements, they get 93%, and to get 100%, they have to go above and beyond. And one of my TAs in that class was like, if you just add a bunch of print statements to like print up different variables, that's not going above and beyond. Like, yes, that's something the assignment didn't ask for, but that doesn't make your assignment any better. So if it only takes you like 7 seconds to try to shoot for that 7%, you probably won't get it. Okay. To go above and beyond, it takes a little bit of time, and it should actually make what you're working on better in some way. If it makes it look more professional, awesome. If it adds a new functionality, awesome. Okay. But it should do something to make it stand out and be more than what was originally asked for.
Hey, Bert, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's about the teams, the final team project. So I took WDD 330 last semester.
Awesome.
And we got to pick our own project. Is that kind of how it is this semester as well?
It is. You're going to have bigger teams, so you'll have more people that have to come to a consensus. But yes, you guys will choose.
And we will be working with teammates in that class to help pick that project?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say we're going to build an e-commerce application. Okay. We wanted to build something like, let's say my wife was like an artist and she wants to like sell all of her paintings online internationally or something. Okay. There's going to be a lot of front end and a lot of back end work. Okay, it's kind of an artistic website. It's going to have to look really, really professional, look really appealing, and visually nice, right? But at the same time, we're going to have to store all that data securely, because people are going to be paying with like credit and debit cards. Maybe we want to set up other types of payments. And we're going to have to set up user accounts. We're going to have to set up a store full of products to sell, you know, all of her different artwork. And so all of that, we're going to split in half for the project. So we'll probably be in pairs in this class, and they'll probably be in pairs in that class. I would expect that you can plan on teams of like 4 to 6 total for the whole project. Half in this class, half in that class. And our side of that, your side of that project, is going to be to make the database and to write the services in Node.js to retrieve that data from the database and send them up to the front end project, to their code base, so that they can use it and display it on the page, and they'll be in charge of making that look really nice on the front end. Okay, so that's kind of what you're going to be doing. So great question. But yeah, you'll totally get to choose, which is awesome. I love when you get to choose projects. I feel like it helps you stay more motivated, and you end up happier once it's done. All right. Any other questions on this, or anything else we've covered so far?
Will we cover topics in web security, or is that something we're going to have to learn on our own?
No, we will cover topics on web security. We will not go into a crazy amount of depth in web security, but we will go into enough depth that you could have a website that processes payments and has sensitive personal information that is secured. Okay.
So are we going into authentication as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that going to be token based in this course, or how is that going to work?
It is token based. Let me pull up. So lesson 6 is when your proof assignment is due. Oh, there it is. And here's the rubric. This is for your e-commerce application that's due at the end of week 6. Notice that. Oh, never mind. Let's see, maybe it's in the next one that I'm thinking of. I'm gonna click on projects, project 2 requirements. Right here, successfully incorporates login authentication system. But yeah, we do use tokens. We teach you how to use those. The Udemy or Academy course will also include those, how to make sure that all of the data between your pages is being transferred securely. And both of your applications, your big applications this semester, are going to have login systems. Great. Okay, other questions? These are great questions, guys.
Are we going to be using any TypeScript in this course, or no?
We will not. We will not.
'Cause that makes things so much easier using Express to.
Well, and so with that, Travis, there's a little bit of flexibility there. All right. I'm used to saying in this class, for your second project, if you want to use any type of framework, or in this case, TypeScript, you can. All right. I've had people use Angular or React or Vue, and I'm just fine with that. With that said, for the second project this semester, you're not going to be doing the full stack on that project. You're just going to be doing the back end. And so Angular won't really apply to just doing the back end in Node.js. But if there's something that you want to use, you know, if you want to use TypeScript in there, I'm sure that's possible. And if you can get your team to agree to that, then that's totally cool. But it has to be a consensus on your team. Great question. Okay. These are awesome, guys. Any other questions? Okay, sweet. Well, let me just show you guys. So I pretty much just navigate our course content here. This is hosted by GitHub Pages. If you actually look in iLearn, like at the modules, and you click on like any assignment that's in here, like if I click on like the week 1 team activity, basically the only thing in iLearn is a link. And then you come back in iLearn and submit a quiz saying that you did it. You know, or for the proof assignments, you'll submit a little document that includes like a link to your code and a couple of other things that you have to answer. So iLearn is really just used for 2 things, scheduling and submitting stuff and your grades. So submitting stuff and grades kind of go together. But that's all we're really using iLearn for in this course. But all these links will go straight to the GitHub pages, and you can navigate these if I wanted to say like, oh, what's the week 2 team activity, or what's the week 2 prove activity. And you can also click on the lessons and see everything that we have planned. All right, if you want to work like way ahead and finish the entire Catamine course this weekend because you got nothing better to do, that's awesome and good for you. But it's all here. I'm not hiding anything from you. You can see everything that we're going to do this entire course. But I like to navigate through here just because this is a lot faster than iLearn is, and I'm impatient. So, but it's all here. And like Jordan and Andrew said, we do have these rubrics. These rubrics are just here for your prove assignments for the first half of the semester. Because the team activities, you're basically just going to report in iLearn that you did them and to what extent you participated in them. The second half of the semester, once we start getting into our big team project, you'll notice that it's a lot different. The team activities in the second half of the semester will feel more like your prove activities did, just because that is where the majority of your grade is going to come from. And so it's not going to be self-reported like the quizzes for your team activities in the first half of the semester. So, and then this link right here just goes to our video spreadsheet, but I will probably remove that here soon. So, but the link's in the syllabus and the help doc. All right, let me just glance at the syllabus real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. We do not have any exams in this class, so I'll take that out. Okay, any questions, you guys?
For the team activities, do we do them like during class on Thursday or like after and meet with our team, or?
So that's a great question. So in the syllabus, if you click on our Zoom invitation, it'll show what days our class. That is not right. I think it's like 407 or something like that. But it shows what day our class is on. Okay, we're signed up to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And what we're going to do is we have this required class today. And then after this is every Tuesday through the end of the semester. Oh, that was right. The ending date's right there. Okay, so every Tuesday from the 11th, which is next Tuesday, through March 30th. Okay, so after this, we're only ever going to meet on Tuesdays. And then Thursday is used for your team activity time. So I plan on ending this class today within the next few minutes, once all of your questions have been answered. And then that'll give you a little bit of time to work on your team activities today, since this week's really short. But for the rest of the semester, we will meet as a class on Tuesday. That's when you're required to come. And then every Thursday, you'll meet with your teams. And however you want to meet is totally up to you. If you want to do Skype or Google Hangouts or meet in person or Zoom, it's totally up to you. All right, I'm looking at all the chat. There were 12 things here. You can raise your hand. Yep, awesome. Okay, sweet. Looks like I'm not missing too much. Okay, any other questions, you guys?
If you're ending class early, do you think you could put us in breakout rooms for our groups for the next little bit, just so we can, figure things out in person before we have to move to Slack?
Yes, today I'll put you in your groups. In speaking of Slack, hang on one second, Aaron. Are there any questions about how to join Slack? Like I said, I've seen a lot of you there, but sometimes there's people who don't join and they miss out on everything. Okay, so I'm going to put you into breakout rooms. While I'm sharing my screen, let me just show you this real quick. Your teams are showing up right here. I made these yesterday afternoon. Thank you, Samuel, for your message. I was thrown off by the short week. So you do have teams. Whichever team you're in, you will see that channel. They're private. Nobody else will be able to see your channel. And so that is your team number. When I make these breakout rooms, I'm just going to make 6 rooms, and you can join your team's breakout room. Okay, we'll do that sometimes too on regular Tuesdays when I want you guys to talk about your team projects or meet as a team for something else. I'll make breakout rooms and I'll let you guys join them. Atsushi, did you have a question?
So those team, well, basically I'm in team 3. on Slack. So is that a team, and all the members on team 3 is going to be my teammate all the whole?
Yes. So you will do team activities with your team for the first half of the semester.
Right.
Okay. When the second half of the semester starts, you will likely have a different team. If you want to keep working with the same people, you can. But I will let you choose who you want to be with. But like I said, we'll probably have pretty small teams, probably just 2 to 3 people. And so once that happens, I will delete these team channels, and then I'll make new ones for you guys. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
If somebody's not here from our group, should we think that they're not coming?
At this point, I would say just work on your team assignment. Hope that they end up coming. But you all have 3 to 4 people on your team. And in my opinion, it's harder to work with larger teams, which is good in some ways and bad in some ways. But if your team ends up getting dropped down to 2 or 3, that's not always a terrible thing. Okay. But hope that they come, but you guys go ahead and get started on your assignment. So, and like I said yesterday, a lot of these people, or when I wrote this yesterday, a lot of the people that I was adding onto these teams hadn't even joined Slack yet. And so I invited you guys to send messages to them. More people have joined now. But just be aware that if there is someone on your team who isn't here today, or they're not showing up, or they're not talking in your channel, maybe just send them an email. That's why I put this screenshot right here, so that you guys have each other's emails. So, okay, any other questions? You guys, I'm excited. I hope that you guys are excited. I hope I didn't like scare you or intimidate you guys or anything. I never try to do that. But I hope that you're excited. I seriously love this class. It's the best class ever. And I'm not just saying that. It's because I lived and breathed this stuff as a professional, and it's like my favorite thing in the world. Okay, so it's awesome, and you're going to do amazing things with web technologies this semester. So if you guys need anything else, don't hesitate to ask. One thing that I forgot to mention is this spreadsheet right here. Each semester, I love to do student interviews. Okay, especially with remote classes. I love getting to know you guys, and it's really hard to do that with like an hour and a half that we meet every week. And so if you guys want to sign up for our time on this, a lot of you guys already have. I would love that. And you guys can ask me any questions about, advising or classes here on campus, or jobs or internships, or what my favorite color is. You guys can ask me anything. I'll ask you stuff. I want to get to know you guys. And so this is just an opportunity for us to talk, and they're short, just a few minutes. So this is optional if you want to do it. I sent this link out, but I'll also post it on Slack here real quick, so that you guys can have it if you guys haven't signed up for a time yet. So, hey, I just made your breakout rooms. So go ahead and join the room that matches your team number in Slack. And you guys can go ahead and get started on your team activities. Okay.